Hello, my friend. This is my ever-charming planner where I love to plan and plan to love all 28 days of February. And one of those early February days, I headed out to my favorite coffee shop, grabbed a London Fog tea, my pencils, and my Archer and Olive bullet journal, and started to sketch out my February spread. I found that's a good routine for my bullet journal. Sketch out my plans at the coffee shop, then return home to finish the rest with pens and markers. Now, on this particular February morning, the temperature dropped and snow started to cover the streets of my small town. So, when I got home, another hot beverage was required. Warm, chocolatey goodness topped with whipped cream. Oh, yum. Before we get started, I must apologize. This is the middle of February and I am just finishing this video. I almost debated even putting this out. However, I thought, you know what, just do it. Even if you guys have already completed your February spreads, I need to get it done. So I am going to make a goal of completing my monthly bullet journal 2 weeks before the actual month. Fingers crossed, I'll get on the ball with that, which means this week I need to start my March bullet journal. We'll see how it goes. Because I'm so far behind on this month, I thought with this video, I will just give you the highlights. So everything that you see, all the sketches, again, I finished that at the coffee shop. And when I got home, I pulled out my midliners and I was gonna use some pinks and reds, but then I decided, you know what, I think I just wanna go with more muted colors. So I pulled out that light gray midliner, and then you'll see in a minute, I'm gonna use like a real light taupe color, there it is. And then just some light pinks and greens. I'm anticipating February as my favorite month for bullet journaling just because I love the envelopes, the paper theme, the stamps, of course the hearts, the roses. Those are all really easy things for me to draw. I know I've said it before, but I am a very beginner in my doodling and drawing. So, you know, of course, drawing a heart, super easy. And I did have to Google how to draw a rose. And so that's my beginner rose there. You know, I do find though, the more I work in my bullet journal, the more of, or I guess my artistic talents, if you could even call it a talent, they're evolving, they're getting better, little by little. Here I've pulled out my altitude highlighters. I got those from Target, and it was a long time before I could find a green that I liked. In fact, I think I tried that green and didn't like it, so I'm covering it just with this real, it's a very muted but kind of a real deep evergreen, and it's just like the perfect green. So again, altitude highlighters from Target. If you're having trouble finding the perfect green, I would recommend this set. As I'm looking at the February calendar, I cannot believe it is already, well, today is February 17th, and so much has happened this month. on Saturday, we had my niece's wedding, and on my next video, it will be my Happy Planner weekly video. I'm going to share pictures and a little few snippets of the wedding. It was absolutely beautiful, but I feel like for the last 6 months since she got engaged, I have been looking forward to that date, February 14th. And it came and it went, and I gotta say, I'm a little sad that it's over, but it just made February fly by. I can't believe it. March is in just like a week and a half away, and it's time to start thinking about putting all my winter decor away, getting out that spring decor. For me, March 1st, that is kind of like my unofficial start of spring, but like to, put away the winter greens and get out those spring florals. If you're wondering, that is the Pigma Micron 01 point pen, and I recently discovered this pen. I had actually ordered a whole set of varying points probably a year ago, and then just like last week I pulled this pen out and I'm like, oh my goodness, why have I not been using this? And so I did order. Now here I'm using a different point. I think this is just the one. I could be wrong, but I think it's the one. But I bought the variety pack from Amazon, like I said, probably about a year ago. And then I'm just using different points. This is a little bit thicker for the word February. But again, I loved that 01 point pen so much. I ordered a whole set of those, and I have been using that on my Happy Planner, and I've been thinking about on my functional Hemlock and Oak planner using that also. Although in my Hemlock and Oak, I have been using a Papermate Flair pen, which was, used to be my number one favorite pen. So I don't know if I want to mix that up. I'm one that I like consistency. So if I've used, my Flair pen for the month of January and February, I'm not sure I want to change it up with a different pen, but definitely my Happy Planner. And now the Archer and Olive, I'm using that Pigma Micron pen. Outlining my doodles and my letters, it just gives that page pizzazz. Makes everything pop. And I found if you just go off the line a little bit, it adds a little bit of dimension to your drawings. So that was a fun one to do. I loved it. I decided for the month of February, I was going to focus on 3 main goals, and that's what this page is for. 3 goals. So 1, I'm going to try to make my bed every day that I'm off work, which I do 3 12-hour shifts, so I'm off 4 days during the week, and on those 4 days, it is my goal to make my bed. Now, I probably am cheating a little bit here because that is a goal that I think I will pretty much, do, because I'm in the good habit of making my bed already. But I don't know, for some reason I thought, okay, I need an obtainable goal, and just so I can feel a little success here. So making my bed every day that I'm off work. The other goal, and this is a big one for me, I feel like I waste so much food, and so I want to make a goal to take less trips to Kroger and eat what I have already in the house. So my freezer is stuffed full. I need to eat a lot of that food. I've got like a lot of chicken, a lot of hamburger. I need to eat that because, to be honest, sometimes I am really lazy. I know I have frozen meat in the freezer, and instead I will go to Kroger and get a pound of hamburger because I don't feel like pulling it out of the freezer and letting it thaw and waiting all day for it to thaw. So I got to be better on that. So that's another goal. Eat the food I already have so it doesn't go bad, and less trips to Kroger. That will save me so much money. And then my third goal is to walk 10,000 steps a day when I'm not at work. And this has been an ongoing goal for me. But, over winter, I kind of slacked off a little bit. So got to get back to that 10,000 steps on the days that I am not working. Okay, here is my weekly, and I thought it would be fun just to have like notes everywhere on the page. And for my weekly, I pretty much just put important dates and events that are happening that week. This is actually really helpful to have the month at a glance, where I can look and say, okay, this is happening this week. Oh my goodness, next week I've got this big event. So I like having this page. This is always a favorite page of mine. Like having the weeklies on one page where you can see everything and know, okay, this is what's going on for the month. It's so simple, but the highlighted lines, they just make me smile. I feel like they fill out the page and give the page personality. And here I'm just using my sketch or my stencil. What am I calling it? Sketch. My stencils to write the word weekly. And then at the bottom, I end up putting weekly notes. I didn't think you guys would really be interested in seeing how I created this page, but here it is. Budget, groceries. I found last month I did this kind of page for the first time in January, and it was very helpful. I went through my bank app and just put down, income coming in for the month, and then how much of that was going out to groceries. And it was eye-opening. I could not believe how much money I was spending on groceries. And so I found this page extremely helpful. So again, just got my bank app out, looked at and wrote down the money coming in and then the money going out for groceries. And I ended up, just by seeing those numbers on paper, I ended up making a lot of changes. Changes in my budget that include spending less on food and more into saving and paying off debt. And, for me, it's all about just being aware of what I have and what's going out. And that's where my planner is so helpful. Instead of, I tend to be one of those people who are very easygoing, carefree. I have to admit, I don't pay attention to a lot of things, but having this planner and forcing me to write things down, it really keeps my head in the game. To finish out my February bullet journal, I'm just going back, adding a few more little doodles and lines and notes to finish out this spread. As we look back at my February Archer and Olive bullet journal spread, I hope your February has been filled with love, happiness, and celebration. Even if you didn't have a big wedding or a Valentine on the 14th, I hope you were blessed with small moments that touched your heart and your soul. A smile, a kind gesture, a snuggle with a furry pet. I pray your life has seen moments of love and kindness. February, the month to remember that love is possible, it is shareable, and it is for everyone. And we still have a couple of weeks left, so let's get to it. Let's spread love wherever we go. Well, friends, I'm going to finish up filling out this journal, but it's been truly lovely spending this time with you. And if you like this content, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Oh boy, I would so appreciate the support. And until next time, much love. Goodbye, my friends.